thought it would be a good idea to do a video demonstration to show the acid-base properties of salts. So what I'm going to do is test the acid-base properties of 3 different salt solutions. We're going to look at a 0.1 molar potassium iodide solution. We're going to look at a 0.1 molar ammonium chloride solution. And we're going to look at a 0.1 molar sodium acetate solution. To test the acid-base properties of all of these things, I'm going to add a little bit of universal indicator to each of these solutions. Universal indicator is a solution that changes color depending on whether your solution is acidic, basic, or neutral. And if the solution is red in color, that indicates that it's acidic. If it's light green in color, that indicates neutral. And if it's dark green or blue, that indicates a basic solution. So just to start off, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of deionized water. Maybe I'll put on my safety glasses. A little deionized water into a beaker. And I'll add the universal indicator to it. Now, one thing I'll say about this universal indicator is when I took this from the bottle, it said the expiration date was October of 1998. I have no idea how well this is going to work considering it's that old. I mean, it expired before many of you were even born, but let's hope for the best. So add a little bit of universal indicator to the DI water, and what we see is that we have a solution that is kind of light green in color, right? Water is neutral. Next, I'll go ahead and pour some of my 0.1 molar potassium iodide into a beaker. And to that, I'll add some of the universal indicator. And what we see is that it is also a nice light green color, indicating a neutral solution, right? Just like how water was neutral. This was what we would expect, right? Based on what we talked about dealing with the acid-base properties of salts. What do we have here? Potassium iodide contains a metal cation, which is no acid-base properties. And we also have the iodide ion, which is the conjugate base of the strong acid HI, right? I minus, because it's the conjugate base of a strong acid, is completely ineffective as a base. And so what we have in this solution are 2 spectators in water. And so this solution should be neutral. Next, we'll take a look at ammonium chloride. And we already thought about ammonium chloride in one of our earlier presentations and predicted that ammonium chloride would be an acidic solution because ammonium chloride contains the cation NH4+, which is a weak acid, and chloride is an ineffective base because it's the conjugate base of HCl. So what we have in this solution is an acid, a weak acid, we have a spectator, and we have water. Therefore, we predict this solution to be acidic, and when I add the universal indicator to it, what we see is that it changes in color to be kind of an orangey red, indicating that this is an acidic solution. Lastly, we'll take a look at the sodium acetate solution. Now for sodium acetate, we have a metal cation, Na+, so that has no acid-base properties, that's just a spectator. And we have the acetate ion, which is the conjugate base of the weak acid, acetic acid. So this is CH3COO- is our anion here. Because this is the conjugate base of a weak acid, this will be a weak base, and we predict that this solution should be basic. Upon adding the universal indicator, what we see here is that it does turn kind of a darker green color than what we saw in the case of our DI water. It's a little hard to actually see the difference. You can almost see it if I hold it really close to the camera. Yeah, you can see this is the DI water, which is neutral, and that's that light green sort of color. And this is our sodium acetate solution, which is a darker green color. And so you can see because it has that darker green color, with what we said regarding the universal indicator, this solution will be basic. And you can calculate the pH of it. And you'll find that it's just slightly basic. It's not, I think it's got a pH somewhere around 8, whereas, DI water would just be at a 7. So it's just slightly basic, and we do see a slight difference in the colors here.